add a div and close the div. And here I am defining some content here. So ampersand copy, right? So that is copyright 2020. So here Amazon, right? So that is what I'm defining, Amazon copyright 2020, like this we are configuring, right? Copyright, yeah, Amazon, like this. Whatever we want, we can configure that, we can define, and this is all the markup. This is all the markup, right? So let's remove this comment to make it clear. So yeah, now this is what your component is. So in the component, you have defined the selector. In the component, you have defined the selector. Selector indicates how to access this component. Template indicates when this component is accessed, what to display. This is what it has to display. And from where to get the logic? Logic comes from the TypeScript class. That logic is binded to this. This is data binding expression. Now, do you want any effects? Okay, then after template, comma, then you can define styles. See, style URLs and styles. Styles indicates a set of styles. That means it is a collection, array. It is an array. So if you have any doubt in how to use this property, you can right click and go to definition. When you go to definition, right click and go to definition, it will show that styles is a string array. String array. That means how to use it, you can understand that, okay, it is a string array, then I have to define an array, and in that string array, here we need to define, so string array, here we need to define the styles. How to write the styles? Just how you write inline embedded styles. Embedded styles, that means heading 2, okay. For heading 2, what effects you want? You need to define the effects. That means for heading 2, what effects you want? You need to configure the effects here. So for example, heading 2, for address, whatever the styles effects you want, you can define. So for example, heading 2, color. So I want the color as some green, like this. That's how we have to define. And you know, generally when you are defining the effects, outer string, inner string, single quotes, double quotes, swapping, how do we manage them? Already I told you, right? Here directly you can give the attribute. You don't need to define any option if it is. And you know that multiple styles are defined with a semicolon. Suppose we have address, and for address, what effects you want? You need to configure that. That means suppose I want border as 2 pixel. So like solid, like some dark cyan. Okay. And I want like padding. That means effects, how you add multiple effects. Padding. So padding. And how do we define the padding? Suppose 20 pixel, like this. Margins, how do we add the effects? That's how we need to configure multiple. And very important, array means, so you defined one style, and after defining one style, then you defined another style, and all this should be separated with comma, right? That's how we need to use. This is one set of effects. This is for heading, and this is for address. So we need to define in this way because it is an array, right? And every array element contains the effects for any specific. You can use class names, everything. Just I am roughly defining in the beginning level. This is enough to understand border, how to define padding and all. And multiple effects means they are separated with a semicolon. Some more points are there, we will learn about that. So your component is ready. Your component is ready. That means usually the component metadata is defined like this, So import, so component, and from, so it has to from Angular /core, and at the net component uses metadata. So in the metadata, you have to define selector, and you have to define template, and you have to define styles, and it is an array. So we have to define. That's just syntax. And you usually will have a class, export class demo component, and whatever the members are there in. That is how basically how we design a component. Several more attributes are there, you will learn later. So that is first. So that means what we have to do, add a new TypeScript file by name. Its name will be contact.component.ts. By name contact.component.ts. In that, this logic, I will copy this entire logic and define. Okay. Now, after adding this logic, component is not ready to use. Next step, go to app.module.ts and register your component. That means you have to register your component. So how do we register the component? So let's go. We will start the project first. So when you start the project, control backtick, open the terminal, and ng serve. Okay. Now it will start. Now in the background, we will do the work here. Our component is not ready to use because we have to register the component. Where to register components? We have to go to app.module.ts file. In app.module.ts file, you see components are registered in declarations. Components are registered in declarations. Modules are registered in imports. I told you in last session. Services are registered in providers. So our component need to be registered here. Component name. Our component name is contact component, right? This is the component name. Component name means class name, not the file name, right? So here I have to define the component here. What is it? Contact component. Okay. And you can see automatically the contact component is a separate module. It imported that module. If it haven't imported the module, then obviously it will show red underline. Make sure that you go and import this above. So above you import from that particular file, right? And then it is ready. Now component is registered. So we have to register the component in declarations. That means first what you have to do, we have to import this. First time we are discussing this. So go to app module. You have to import this, and in the declarations, you have to define this. In the declarations, you have to define this. Other components also will be there. So you have to define this contact component. Okay. Component is registered. Now, you have to start with this component. Right? That means now what we have to do is bootstrap your component. Bootstrap your component. That means you have to bootstrap your component to start with. How to bootstrap the component? So you go to the component, bootstrap here, app component. Here you bootstrap with your component. What is our component? Remove that component. Now at present, we will use only one component in the startup. Later you will learn how to deal with array, right? Now what is the component? Contact component. That is